It is 1:08 a.m. Mountain Standard Time on Friday, July 23rd. I'm about to check and see if Masters of the Universe Revelation has hit Netflix yet. And there we have it. I am going to watch each episode and then quickly give my thoughts after each one. So I shall see you in about 25 minutes after the power of Grayskull. Well, I just finished the first episode of Masters of the Universe Revelation, and
holy moly!
I'm going to say, if you are a fan of the original toys, particularly the box art from those toys, you're going to love the intro to this show. I'm not sure if this is the intro that's used on every episode. I guess I'll find out in a couple of minutes when I start watching episode 2. I will say that this show seems to be taking some turns towards those rumors, but as I said, I don't really care. I do like where it's going so far, and I'm going to go as far to say if you are not liking this, you probably weren't a Masters of the Universe fan to begin with.
Burn.
On to my notes. This first episode was written by showrunner Kevin Smith. Can you tell us anything about the show there, Kev? No? Alrighty then. The episode takes place on Teela's big day. Her adoptive father is very proud of his little girl because she has become the new man-at-arms of Eternia. Almost immediately we get to see a couple of the cooler evil warriors in Clawful and Spikor. Like I said before, I wasn't a huge fan of the Filmation series, but I do kind of know that a lot of those cooler characters, a lot of the cooler toy designs, weren't in the show very much, if at all. Cringer is afraid of fireworks, and personally, I don't blame the big pussy. King Randor is kind of a douchebag.
Douchebag City!
Let's just say he says some things about his son Adam that he's going to regret by the end of this episode. The Prince Adam to He-Man transformation scene is pretty spectacular. Not an exact replica of the original one, but kind of brings in elements of that one while I feel improving upon them. Mark Hamill as Skeletor, sure, you do kind of hear some notes of the Joker hitting there once in a while, but it's Mark Hamill, come on. There is a death of a character in this episode. I think, maybe I'll be proven wrong in the next 4 episodes, but it did kind of look like they killed one of the classic heroic warriors. This is a slight bit of a spoiler, but we get to see Faker, and the things this evil robot He-Man is capable of doing are pretty amazing. Way more of Faker than we've probably ever gotten in any version of Masters of the Universe till now. Now we also got a glimpse of the Skull Guards. That's a pretty obscure Masters of the Universe character. I believe they were pretty much originally only seen in a UK storybook until recently. Then I believe Super 7 did do action figures of them, and now they're in this. The voice cast is pretty great. I can't remember everybody off the top of my head, but if you are a Game of Thrones fan, you will probably be pretty happy. And I think that's about all I really have to say about the first episode, Power of Grayskull. Now on to episode 2. Am I crazy? Or are they sending us to heaven and hell? Episode 2, so there was no intro, so I guess that must just be a first episode thing, which is fine. It's fine. I'm fine. It's fine. It's fine. I guess it's fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. They don't say explicitly, but I believe there's been a bit of a time jump. They don't say how much time. But Teela does have a snazzy new haircut. I know some people call it the SJW haircut with the shaved sides. I don't know, I always kind of dug that look. My mom hates it, but you know.
She's a boomer.
We get our first glimpse of Stinkor, voiced by Jason Mewes. Teela and her partner are now working for hire, gathering magical relics. Which is one of the things that always made me kind of laugh about the original Filmation series, because pretty much every episode was focused on an amulet, or a gauntlet, or a gem, or a potion of some kind. A mysterious woman hires them to retrieve a chalice from the old Snake Mountain. You know, I will be really disappointed if there's not eventually a Snake Mountain Dew tie-in to this show. And for the love of God, please do a zero sugar version. As Teela makes her way into Snake Mountain, we get a bit of a flashback to an adventure with her and He-Man, where they battle Whiplash, one of my favorite villains. Whiplash! Then we bring it back to the present, as Teela, again, is sneaking into Snake Mountain. She discovers the place has had a bit of a remodel thanks to its new tenant, Triclops, voiced by Henry Rollins.
Yeah, I know.
Triclops is the head of a cult focused on technology as opposed to magic. I don't want to spoil too much, but there is a transformation scene that has some slight elements of body horror. Not quite super grotesque, but way more than you would have gotten back in the Filmation days, for sure. We also get to see a few more of the evil warriors, Trapjaw and Blast Attack. When you see him at the end of the battle in this episode, it's pretty funny if you know anything about that character or the original toy. So they have retrieved the chalice. Now they take it back to the woman who hired them to get it. And it's not really a big shocker that this woman turns out to be Evil Lyn. Evil Lyn and Teela return to the site of Castle Grayskull, and this is where we kind of learn of our first very unlikely alliance of the series, and they also kind of kick off what the mission of the rest of the series is going to be about. And that's all I really got to say about episode 2. He-Man has the sense of humor of a teenager who didn't get out much. Well, this episode was written by Kev's podcast partner, Mark Bernardin, and I will say I think it has some of the best writing of the 3 episodes I've watched so far. Some very chuckle-worthy dialogue, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in a Masters of the Universe kind of way. Well, this episode begins with another flashback, which I'm guessing may be a trend for the rest of these episodes. This time, dealing with Merman. Kevin Conroy is the voice of Merman.
Let's dance.
No one disappears without a trace.
Which is pretty cool, and now this series technically has 2 Batman in it, because Diedrich Bader is the voice of King Randor. Teela, Andra, and Evil Lyn are on a mission to find Man-at-Arms. Along the way, they once again run into Triclops in his techno cult. Trapjaw appears, sporting some battle damage. He occurred in the previous episode. Beastman shows up. He is in allegiance with Evil Lyn and sort of her protector. He's not gonna let anyone fuck with Evil Lyn. We get to find out what happened to Orko after the events of the first episode, and it's not looking good for the little guy. He's kind of sick as Eternia runs out of magic. He is running out of strength. Then we are treated to an appearance by Roboto, voiced by Justin Long, And we get his backstory, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if it's ever been done that way before. And I think that's pretty much all I have to say about Episode 3, The Most Dangerous Man in Eternia.
Zombies, fire bats, and shadow beasts, oh my!
This episode does not begin with a flashback. This show just kind of keeps you guessing, which, in my opinion, is a good thing. We pick up right where Episode 3 left off, with the group entering the land of the dead and immediately being separated thanks to the power of Scareglow, because who else do you expect to find in the land of the dead? They kind of teased him in the previous episode. I thought, oh boy, here he comes, but no. But now we get Scareglow, voiced by Tony Todd. Scareglow's always been kind of a mystery ever since he was introduced in the 80s toy line. They kind of verified some of it with the Classics toy line. But again, you never know what this show is going to do. They might take it in a completely different direction. Scareglow tells Teela he will give her what she wants in exchange for her fear. Along the way, we get to learn Orko's real name, and perhaps a little bit about Evil Lynn's name as well. We also get a glimpse into what is a secret about Teela. Man-at-Arms tried to tell her about it in a previous episode, but Evil Lynn stopped him. But this has been teased since the beginning of He-Man, but the show always seems to be cancelled before they can get to it. At the end of the episode, Teela is about to tell Evil Lynn she's regretting this alliance when... And that's it, the end of Part 1, Episode 5. And I can't really say a lot about this final episode of Part 1. The gang kind of finds themselves in heaven to complete their mission, but they find out they may not have a way out of heaven, but someone may be able to help them. Vague. We are given hints at a bit more of Teela's destiny, and we get a lot of nice Masters of the Universe Easter eggs for some of the die-hard fans of some of the past champions of Eternia, like Hero and Wondar and Vicor and King Grayskull. Now, King Grayskull in this is probably going to piss off some of the...
When you get woke, you go broke.
crowd, but, you know, fuck those guys. And just without giving too much away, I can't really say anything else about this final episode. Overall, I really enjoyed Part 1. I think it's really well done. I think real Masters of the Universe fans will be happy. It did remind me in a lot of ways of the Mike Young show more than the Filmation show. Not just because they had the younger teenage Adam, but also, you know, a lot of the fight scenes. Of course, any fight scenes are probably going to be an improvement over what Filmation was able to do with their limited animation back in the early 80s. Definitely give it a high recommendation. Check it out. 5 episodes of about 25 minutes or so each. So roughly the length of a feature film. Looking forward to Part 2, episodes 6 through 10. Hopefully they'll announce release date for that soon. I have a feeling it'll probably be in the next couple of days when they announce that. Maybe I'll do this kind of thing more in the future. I don't know. If so, hopefully I'll get better at it. And until next time, thanks for watching!